following John Terry's belated apology and allegations of racial abuse during an under-21s match in Serbia. The issue of racism has featured considerably in football headlines, but is enough being done to kick it out of the game? Last Tuesday's football violence in Serbia, which involved reports of missiles being thrown, alleged racial abuse and monkey noises, which was thought to be directed at England's black players, has led to calls for Serbia to be banned from international football. But how do we perceive the treatment of racism in football here in the UK?
Is enough being done? Yes, enough is being done. I have worked with the football authorities in this country. Nothing more could be done. People's individual attitudes have to be changed. Stan Collymore, old friend of mine, wrote in one of the papers this morning, what you saw in Serbia last week was what you had in this country 30 years ago. Through education and re-education, we managed to change it. Can we change it there? That's the answer, education.
I believe just racism in football is about racism in society. There is racism in society. It's wrong. It needs stamping out. It reflects itself in football. For us, football's a mirror of society.
I think actually just as big an issue is when you look at the mixture of crowds. There's very, very few black spectators go. And I think we should actually be looking at that as much as racism on the pitch. It's off the pitch as well.
If I'm honest with you, I've been to a lot of grounds and I've heard some of the abuse people still give to coloured players, and I don't think enough is taken, to be honest with you. Sometimes if the steward's standing close by, they might actually do something about it, but a lot of the times when they're standing at the end and they don't hear it, you know, I don't think nothing's really been done.
I think you've got to make examples of people, so I think John Terry, for one, obviously he's been found guilty, so if they're going to find him guilty, then he should definitely be stripped to the captaincy of Chelsea. Should, you know, be badly punished by Chelsea, even to the case of saying, well, if you're really looking to kick it out, should he play for Chelsea again? Maybe a bit far, but certainly should not be captain.
I think John Terry's reputation is shot. There's not a lot he can do about that, and I'm sure that spectators in other clubs will let him know their feelings.
Without doubt, John Terry's reputation is tarnished. He's made a fulsome apology and he said he was sorry. He realises in the end that what he did he should not have done, and that is issuing those words that he spoke on a football pitch in the Premier League in this country should not have been done. Of course his reputation has been tarnished, but people's reputations can be tarnished and they can work very hard to restore their reputations, and I think personally John Terry will try and do that.
Manchester United player Rio Ferdinand has also been featured in the headlines recently after he appeared to endorse a tweet describing Chelsea player Ashley Cole as a chalk ice. The term is understood to mean someone who is black on the outside but white on the inside. Chelsea's John Terry, on the other hand, found guilty of using racially abusive language towards Anton Ferdinand, a Queen's Park Rangers footballer. Rio Ferdinand was fined £45,000. John Terry was fined £220,000 by the FA and received a 4-match ban. As a result of FA action, he has quit international duty with England. But are the charges Rio Ferdinand and John Terry received comparable?
John Terry, on a football pitch, mouthed words which should not have been mouthed. Rio Ferdinand simply responded to a tweet that was sent to him from somebody else, which used an expression which some would say was offensive to black people or coloured people about the way they respond to a white community. I don't believe Rio meant it in any harmful sort of a way, except acknowledging that tweet who came from somebody else.
I mean, that's as racist as anything, isn't it, to be fair? So I know it's obviously, but yeah, no, he should have been really further punished for that and made an example of.
I think with Rio Ferdinand saying that, I think it's a different way. Basically, he's not saying the racist way, because I can feel where he's coming from. Maybe it's more of a banter, where he's saying, you know, it's chalk ice, it's a bit of a laugh. And people could see it as racism, it's understandable, but my personal view, I wouldn't see that as direct as what John Terry did. There was more of an altercation with John Terry.
As the Football Association and other key figures continue to discuss the best way to stop racism, some players have found alternative ways to protest.
There's a row going on at the moment about whether senior players, you know, very established players in this country, should wear the kick it out of racism T-shirt.
I can understand why, you know, a lot of the footballers haven't been wearing the T-shirts. I think what it is, a lot of people who have been commenting on, you know, why people shouldn't be wearing them are not actually being. They probably haven't experienced that racism. So to me, I fully support what they're doing, really, because I hear it on the terraces. And
you know, maybe what as it Jason Roberts did by not wearing the Kick It Out of Football campaign shirts, I think it's probably a good thing because it's kept it in the focus, if you know what I mean. Whereas if he'd have just worn it and everybody had worn it as normal, probably wouldn't have said any, you know, people wouldn't have known any difference really.
I don't think not wearing a T-shirt is the answer. The Let's Kick It Out campaign is a decent campaign. Jason Roberts says it's impotent. I think he's got that wrong. I think it's important. It's not impotent.
But to combat racism completely, it's always going to be there in football, but I think it's more institutionalised now. Or it's, you know, it's there, but it's not as broadened as it was before. But it is this difficult thing. But I think taking a good year, taking a season out of a player, I think that's hitting them right there.
Indeed, the sheer variety of views and opinions expressed today highlights the complexity of the problem. Many football fans believe that more should be done to combat racial discrimination within football. Moreover, there are those who believe that tougher sanctions should be placed on certain players. This is Celestina Olulode for JN1 in London.